The stars blinked like tiny diamonds against the black canvas of space as Lisa Miller gazed out her apartment window on a quiet Tuesday evening. She had no idea her ordinary life was about to change forever. The doorbell rang. Lisa frowned. Nobody visited her at this hour. She walked to the door and opened it only to freeze in place. A woman stood there, but she was unlike any woman Lisa had ever seen. Her skin had a faint blue tint that seemed to shimmer under the hallway lights. Her eyes were large, almond-shaped, and entirely violet without whites or pupils. Her hair fell in silver waves to her waist. What truly gave her away, though, were the delicate ridges that ran along her temples and the 6 slender fingers on each hand. This was no human. Lisa tried to speak, but her voice failed. The alien woman glanced nervously over her shoulder, then pushed past Lisa into the apartment. "Need your help," the alien said, her voice melodic yet clearly distressed. Her English was perfect, without any accent. "My name is Naya. I come from a star system you call Cygnus." Lisa finally found her voice. "Why are you here?" Why me? Naya paced the small living room. "They are hunting me," she explained. "My people, the Kailari, established first contact with your government 6 months ago. Our diplomatic mission was meant to be secret until official announcements could be prepared." Lisa stared in disbelief. No way. There would have been news. "Some in my delegation had other plans," Naya continued. "They wished to study humans up close without consent. I discovered their plan and tried to stop them. Now they hunt me as a traitor." She turned to Lisa with those unnerving violet eyes. "Please tell them you are my husband." Lisa nearly choked. "What? It is the only way," Naya explained. "On my world, diplomatic immunity extends to mates. By your customs and appearance, they will assume you are female, but our treaties used your word husband, which has no gender in our language. If you claim to be my husband, they cannot legally take me." The doorbell rang again, making both women jump. Lisa looked through the peephole. 2 men in dark suits stood outside. They looked human enough, but something about their stiff posture seemed off. "Agents, Kailari agents disguised as your government officials," Naya whispered. "They use technology to appear human, but it is imperfect." Lisa felt her heart racing. This was insane. Yet the fear in Naya's eyes seemed genuine. She made a split-second decision. She opened the door, but only part-way. "Can I help you?" The taller man spoke. "We are with the State Department. We are here for the foreign national who entered your residence." Lisa swallowed hard. "My wife, you mean?" The men exchanged glances. "Your wife?" "Yes," Lisa said, feeling sweat break out on her forehead. "We were married last month. Private ceremony." She fumbled for her phone. "I have pictures." She quickly pulled up a photo manipulation app she used for work, and while the men waited, she secretly selected a vacation photo with her friend, Tina. She applied a quick filter that gave Tina a subtle bluish tint. "Look," she said, showing them the doctored photo. "My wife Naya." The men studied the image with unnaturally still expressions. The shorter one spoke. "Your marriage is not in our records. We filed the paperwork last week." Lisa improvised, still processing. "I guess I have a copy of our marriage license, though." She hurried to her desk and grabbed a blank form she used for work receipts. She quickly filled it out with fake, official-looking information. The agents examined the paper. Their movements were too smooth, too coordinated. The taller one handed the paper back. "We will need to verify this information. If your claim is false, there will be consequences." "Of course," Lisa said, trying to keep her voice steady. "But as you know, under the recent diplomatic agreement section, 47B spouses of visiting dignitaries are granted the same immunities." She had no idea if such an agreement existed, but it sounded plausible. The shorter agent narrowed his eyes. "How do you know about Section 47B? I work as a paralegal." Lisa lied. "We specialize in international law." She was actually a graphic designer, but they wouldn't know that. After a long pause that felt like hours, the agents retreated. "We will return tomorrow with verification," they said in perfect unison. That was definitely not human. When the door closed, Lisa collapsed onto the couch. What have I done? Naya sat beside her. You saved my life, she said simply. Now I must save yours. They will return. With reinforcements, Lisa felt panic rising. You mean they really will come back? Naya nodded. They will discover the deception quickly. But I have friends among my delegation who support my cause. They can help us. But we must leave now. Lisa looked around. Her apartment, everything she owned, everything she knew. But there was something in Naya's eyes, something that spoke of adventure and possibility beyond anything Lisa had imagined. I need 5 minutes to pack, Lisa said as she threw essentials into a backpack. Lisa wondered if she was making the biggest mistake of her life or embarking on her greatest adventure. They left through the back exit of the apartment building. A sleek car waited with tinted windows. A human woman with red hair sat in the driver's seat. This is Kate, Naya explained. She works with the faction of my people who want honest, open contact with humans. Kate nodded grimly to Lisa as they got in. They found the tracking device in Naya's clothing. She reported, "They will be here soon." The car glided silently into traffic. Lisa watched her apartment building disappear from view. Naya took her hand. "Thank you," she said, "for claiming me as your husband. It was clever to use your language quirk to our advantage." Lisa laughed, despite herself. "So what's the plan?" "We have a ship hidden in the mountains," Kate said. "Several of us have been working against the faction that wants to study humans like lab specimens. We have proof of their plans. When we present it to the Kailari High Council, they will have no choice but to stop this unauthorized mission. And what happens to me?" Lisa asked. Naya looked at her with those strange, beautiful eyes. "That depends. Do you wish to go back to your old life or see the stars?" The car sped toward the mountains. As Lisa considered a future she had never imagined, humanity had always looked to the stars with wonder. Now the stars had come to them, bringing both danger and promise. In that moment, Lisa knew her answer. "The stars," she said. "I want to see the stars, eh?" Smile spread across Naya's face, revealing teeth that glinted like opals. "Then let us show you wonders beyond your imagination." Husband, as their car climbed into the mountains beneath a sky filled with possibilities. Lisa realized that sometimes the greatest adventures begin with a simple lie and the courage to step into the unknown. The ship waited for them, hidden beneath a holographic projection that made it appear as nothing more than a rocky outcropping. It was smaller than Lisa expected, sleek and silver without visible windows or doors. When they approached, a section of the hull simply vanished, creating an entrance. Inside, the ship was alive with soft blue light. 5 other aliens moved about the control room. Some looked like Naya, with the same blue skin and violet eyes. Others had different colorations and features, but all turned to stare at Lisa when she entered. "This is my human mate," Naya announced. "The one who saved me." A tall male with deeper blue skin approached Lisa, bowing slightly. "We are in your debt." He spoke in the same perfect English as Naya. "I am Kelvan, commander of this vessel." "What happens now?" Lisa asked. "We must leave Earth orbit immediately." Another female explained. "Our cloaking technology will hide us from your satellites, but we cannot risk discovery." Lisa felt a momentary panic. "What about my job? My family?" Naya squeezed her hand. "We can return you if you wish. But if you come with us, you will be the first human to see our world, the first to help establish true honest contact between our peoples." Lisa thought of her small apartment, her mundane job, her life that had always felt somehow incomplete. "How long would we be gone?" Kelvin answered. "In your time, perhaps 6 months. Our faster-than-light technology makes the journey short." 6 months, Lisa whispered. 6 months to see another world. "I need to send some messages," Lisa said finally. "Tell my sister. Am taking that extended vacation we talked about. Tell my boss. Am using my sabbatical." Kelvin nodded. "One of our human allies can deliver these messages." As the ship prepared for departure, Lisa stood beside Naya, watching Earth grow smaller through a view screen that appeared in the wall. At a gesture from Kelvin, I never imagined, this Lisa said, gazing at the blue planet below her home growing distant. Naya stood close enough that Lisa could feel a strange warmth radiating from her alien skin. Few do, she said. But sometimes the universe has plans we cannot foresee. The ship hummed, and the stars outside. The view screen stretched into lines of light. Lisa Miller, ordinary human from an ordinary town, had become an ambassador to the stars. All because she had claimed an alien woman as her husband. And as Earth disappeared behind them, Lisa knew that nothing would ever be ordinary again. Lisa felt all eyes on her as she stood before the High Council. She straightened her shoulders and spoke clearly. Yes, I am Lisa Miller. She glanced at Naya beside her. And yes, I claim Naya as my wife, though I understand your translation uses the term husband. A murmur ran through the assembled Kailari. Some touched their temples in what Lisa had learned was a gesture of surprise or interest. Ilara, the council head, studied Lisa with those unnerving violet eyes. Interesting, she said finally, that you would risk everything to protect one not of your kind. It speaks well of your species. Come, the council chambers await. They were led through the city streets. Lisa tried not to gawk like a tourist, but it was impossible not to stare. The buildings seemed to be made of crystal and living material growing from the ground rather than constructed. The streets themselves had a subtle glow pulsing with light that followed their footsteps. Kailari citizens stopped to watch them pass. Their reactions varied. Some bowed respectfully. Others kept their distance, watching with suspicion. Children, small versions of the adults with oversized eyes, ran alongside them, chattering in their melodic language. You are quite the sensation, Ilara commented to Lisa. We have had human visitors before, but never one who arrived so openly. None who walked our streets as an honored guest. Lisa frowned. Wait, you said you had human visitors before. But Naya told me. We have had secret diplomatic meetings, Ilara clarified. But the Vexari have brought humans here as well. For their studies. She said this last part with clear disapproval. The council chambers were housed in a massive structure that spiraled upward like a giant seashell. Inside, the walls were lined with a material that shifted and flowed, displaying images from across the planet and beyond. Lisa recognized Earth among them. 12 council members sat in a semicircle, each on a floating platform that hovered above the floor Ilara took her place at, the center, motioning for Lisa, Naya, and the crew of the Astral Whisper to stand before them. This council has convened to hear testimony regarding the unauthorized actions of the Vexari faction, Ilara announced formally, specifically the abduction and experimentation upon humans of Earth without consent or knowledge of their governments or our council. Lisa listened as Kelvin presented their evidence, records, communications, and testimony from Kailari, who had defected from the Vexari. Their leader, a male named Drax, had apparently been conducting these secret operations for years, believing that humans were a potential threat that needed to be understood and possibly controlled. When Naya spoke, she described discovering these operations by accident and her decision to expose them. And when they discovered my knowledge, they declared me a traitor and sentenced me to mind wiping. Naya explained I fled to Earth, seeking allies, but they followed. Then, turning to Lisa, she added, and I found this human who, despite knowing nothing of our conflict, chose to help me, claiming me as mate to protect me under our laws. All eyes turned to Lisa. She felt her face warm under their scrutiny. Tell us, human. Ilara said, why did you help Naya? Why claim her as mate when you had only just met her? Lisa considered her answer carefully, looking at Naya before responding. I saw someone in trouble, she said simply. Someone being hunted because she stood up for what was right. Where I come from, that deserves help. And she paused, realizing the truth of her next words as she spoke them. And I saw something in her, something worth risking everything. For a member of the council leaned forward. You felt this connection immediately. Lisa nodded. I can't explain. I just knew it was the right thing to do. The council members exchanged glances and subtle gestures. Ilara spoke again. Tell us, Lisa Miller. What do you think should be done about the Vexari and their actions? Lisa hadn't expected to be asked her opinion. She thought carefully before answering. On my world, we have a saying, knowledge without consent is theft. Understanding without respect is invasion. If these Vexari want to understand humans, they should ask. We might surprise them with our willingness to be known, but fear and secrecy that builds only more fear and secrecy. Another council member spoke. Your words show wisdom, human. Perhaps there is hope for greater understanding between our peoples. The council deliberated among themselves, speaking in their own language while Lisa and the others waited. Finally, Alara addressed them again. This council has reached a decision. The Vexari faction shall be disbanded. Their leader, Drax, shall face judgment for violations of our most sacred laws. The humans they have taken shall be returned safely to Earth with no memory of their experiences. And Lisa looked to Naya, who stood tall and proud. We offer our thanks to Naya for her courage in exposing this injustice. Her status as traitor is revoked. Lisa felt relief flood through her. She squeezed Naya's hand and was rewarded with a warm smile. As for you, Lisa Miller. Ilara continued. We extend an invitation. You have proven yourself a friend to our people. Would you consent to remain on Lyria as our first official human ambassador? A bridge between our worlds. Lisa blinked in surprise. Ambassador me. But I'm just a graphic designer. I don't know anything about diplomacy or, you know what matters. Kelvan interjected. Honor, courage, loyalty. These are the foundations of any true diplomacy. Lisa looked at Naya, whose eyes held a question. Will you stay? The offer was incredible beyond anything Lisa could have imagined. But before she could answer, a commotion erupted at the chamber entrance. Guards struggled with a tall male Kailari whose skin was deep crimson. The council shall hear me, he shouted, breaking free and striding into the chamber. I am Drax, leader of the Vexari, and I bring warning. The guards moved to seize him, but Alara raised a hand to stop them. Let him speak. Drax pointed at Lisa. You welcome this human into your midst, but do you know what her kind is capable of? Have you seen what they do to their own world, to their own people? They are violent, unpredictable, destructive, and creative and compassionate and capable of growth. Naya countered, stepping forward. I have lived among them. I have seen their art, their music, their capacity for connection. Drax sneered. You were swayed by sentiment. I dealt in facts. The humans pose a threat to our existence. They must be contained, studied, controlled for our safety. For the first time, Lisa felt anger rise in her. She stepped forward, facing Drax. You don't know us, she said firmly. Yes, we have flaws. Yes, we make mistakes. But judging an entire species by its worst examples, that shows your own limitations, not ours. You fear what you don't understand. So instead of trying to understand, you try to control. I understand perfectly what humans are. Drax hissed. You are chaos. You are destruction, given form enough. Ilara commanded. Your faction operated without authority, Drax. Your actions have violated our most sacred principles of consent and dignity. You will submit to the council's judgment. Guards moved to surround Drax, but he merely smiled, a cold expression that sent a shiver down Lisa's spine. You think this is over, he said softly. But you have no idea what forces you have set in motion. With a swift movement, he pressed something on his wrist and vanished in a flash of light. The chamber erupted in chaos, council members shouting, guards rushing about. Alara called for order. He has escaped, she said grimly. But where Kelvin had been checking something on a small device. His ship is gone, he reported. He must have had it waiting in orbit. Cloaked from our sensors, the implications settled heavily on them all. Drax was free, potentially dangerous, and clearly harboring deep hatred for humans. Lisa felt a chill. We have to warn Earth. Alara nodded. We will send word immediately through our official channels. She turned to Lisa. Our offer stands. Will you be our ambassador? Help us build a better understanding between our peoples. Lisa looked at Naya, whose face was filled with hope and something else. Something deeper. Then at Kelvin Kate and the others who had risked everything to do what was right. Yes, she said, finding certainty in her answer. I will stay. I will help, however I can. The council members touched their temples in approval. Ilara smiled. Then it is decided you will be given quarters time to learn our ways. And she looked pointedly at Naya and Lisa. And we shall recognize your bond as mates with all rights and privileges that entails. Later, as they walked through gardens that glowed with bioluminescent plants, Naya finally asked the question that had been hanging between them. Did you mean what you said? That you felt something worth risking everything for? Lisa stopped looking up at the 3 moons that hung in the lavender sky of this alien world. She turned to Naya. I meant every word. Their hands found each other, fingers intertwining human and alien. I never expected this, Naya whispered. When I fled to Earth, I was seeking safety. Not Lisa smiled. Not a husband. They both laughed, the tension breaking between them. Something was growing. Something neither had words for in any language, but they had time to discover what it might become. From a balcony overlooking the garden, Ilara watched them. The first official human-Kailari bond, she said to Kelvan, who stood beside her. Do you think the humans are ready for such revelations? Kelvan followed her gaze. Some are, he replied. And for the rest, Lisa will help them understand. In time, Ilara nodded. But what of Drax? What do you think he meant by forces set in motion, Kelvan's expression darkened. I fear we may learn sooner than we would wish. Across the stars, Drax's ship hurtled through the darkness. His crimson skin glowed with rage in the dim light of his bridge. They thought they had won. He seethed, but they understood. Nothing. He activated a communication device. Prepare the final phase, he ordered. Our allies are waiting. The journey through space was unlike anything Lisa could have imagined. Time seemed to flow differently as the Kailari ship traveled between the stars. Lisa spent hours watching the view screens as cosmic wonders passed by, nebulae glowing with colors she had never seen before, distant planets with rings that sparkled like diamond dust and stars being born in great clouds of light and energy. At first, Lisa felt like a stranger among the Kailari crew. They were polite but distant, watching her with curiosity in their violet eyes. Only Naya spoke to her, freely explaining their technology, their culture, and the politics that had led to this moment. Their ship was called the Astral Whisper, a name that somehow sounded both alien and poetic. The technology was so advanced that it seemed like magic to Lisa. Doors appeared and disappeared in solid walls at a mere thought. Food materialized in small alcoves, tasting like the most perfect versions of familiar Earth dishes. The gravity could be adjusted, making Lisa feel lighter or heavier with a simple command. The ship itself is partially alive. Naya explained one night as they sat in the observation deck watching a binary star system pass by. It grows and heals itself and responds to our needs. Lisa tried to understand. Is it sentient? Like a person? Not exactly, Naya said. It has awareness, but not what you would call consciousness. It exists to serve us, and it finds joy in that service. A partnership more than ownership. Each day, Lisa learned more about the Kailari. The faction that hunted Naya was called the Vexari. They believed that humans were dangerous, unpredictable, and needed to be studied and possibly controlled before any official contact could be made. They had been secretly abducting humans for months, running tests determining weaknesses. Naya's group, the Harmonists, believed in open, honest contact, mutual respect, and cultural exchange. They had been gathering evidence of the Vexari's illegal activities to present to the High Council. And where do I fit in all this? Lisa asked Naya as they shared a meal in Lisa's quarters, which had been adjusted to make her feel more at home. Naya looked at her with those endless violet eyes. You are living proof that humans can be trusted with knowledge of us that you can adapt, understand, and grow. You are our best argument against the Vexari. Lisa felt the weight of responsibility settle on her shoulders. I hope I don't let you down. Naya reached across the table and took Lisa's hand. You won't, she said with certainty. I knew from the moment I saw you that you were different, special. There was something in the way Naya looked at her that made Lisa's heart beat faster. She found herself increasingly drawn to the alien woman. Not just her exotic beauty, but her courage, her intelligence, her gentle humor. She tried to dismiss these feelings as inappropriate or impossible, but they persisted, growing stronger each day. On the 5th day of the journey, Kelvin called everyone to the command center. "We will be passing through the Scarlet Veil." He announced a region of space where reality thins. "We must all prepare." Lisa looked to Naya for explanation. "The Scarlet Veil is a phenomenon unique to this region of space," Naya said. "It affects the mind, creating visions, sometimes memories, sometimes desires. It is harmless but can be disorienting. We have medicine that can block its effects." "If you wish," Lisa thought for a moment. "No," she decided. "I want to experience it as you do." Naya smiled, looking pleased. "Then we will face it together." The crew prepared for the passage. Through the view screens, Lisa saw a strange crimson mist spreading across the stars, swirling in patterns that seemed almost alive. As the ship entered the veil, Lisa felt a tingling sensation across her skin. The air seemed to shimmer with particles of light, and then the visions began. Lisa saw herself as a child running through a meadow of flowers, laughing. She saw her mother young and beautiful before the illness took her. She saw herself standing on a stage accepting an award for her art, something that had never happened. The visions shifted, growing stranger. She saw herself with wings soaring through alien skies. She saw herself growing old, surrounded by children who were neither fully human nor fully Kailari. She turned to look at Naya and gasped. Naya was glowing, her skin translucent with inner light. Her eyes had become pools of violet fire. Lisa could see patterns of energy flowing through her body like living electricity. "Are you seeing this?" Lisa whispered, reaching out to touch Naya's luminous skin. Naya nodded. "I see you too," she said softly. "You shine with colors we have no names for in any language." Around them, the other crew members were experiencing their own visions, some laughing, some weeping, some standing in silent wonder. Lisa noticed that Kate, the human ally, was nowhere to be seen. "Where is Kate?" she asked. "She chose to take the blocking medicine," Kelvin explained, appearing beside them. His own skin rippled with patterns like ocean waves. Some humans find the experience too intense. The passage through the veil lasted 3 hours. By the time they emerged, Lisa felt changed somehow, as if she had shared something profound with these aliens that she could never fully explain to another human. That night she dreamed of violet eyes and stars singing her name. 2 days later, Kelvin announced they were approaching Kailari space. "Soon we will reach our homeworld." "Lyria," he told. "Lisa, you will be the first human to set foot on our planet." "It is a great honor." Lisa felt both excited and terrified. "I don't want to make any mistakes," she confessed to Naya as they prepared for arrival. "Are there customs I should know? Rules I might break?" Naya laughed, a sound like silver bells. "Just be yourself, that is all we ask. The High Council knows you are coming. They are eager to meet the human who helped expose the Vexari plot." The ship slowed as they entered the Kalari solar system. 3 suns orbited each other in a complex dance, one gold, one blue, one white. Their light played across the view screens, casting rainbow shadows. And then Lisa saw it. Lyria, a planet larger than Earth, with swirling clouds of pale lavender and turquoise. Vast oceans glittered in the triple sunlight. Great cities sprawled across the continents, glowing with their own inner light. "It's beautiful," Lisa breathed. Naya stood close beside her. "Yes," she agreed. "It is my home, and now you will see it with your own eyes." As they orbited the planet, Lisa noticed something strange. "What are those?" she asked, pointing to what looked like floating islands hovering above the surface. "Sky cities," Naya explained. "They drift on the magnetic currents, moving from place to place. Mostly they are centers of art, music, and philosophy." The ship began its descent toward one of the largest cities on the ground, a vast metropolis of crystal towers and flowing architecture that seemed to have grown rather than been built. "We must prepare for landing," Kelvin announced. "The High Council awaits us." Lisa felt suddenly self-conscious in her simple Earth clothes. I don't have anything appropriate to wear. Naya smiled. We have prepared something for you if you will accept it. In her quarters, Lisa found a garment laid out on her bed. It was like nothing she had ever seen, made of a fabric that shifted colors with every movement, flowing like water, yet holding its shape. The design was a blend of Earth and Kailari styles, a tunic, and pants that somehow managed to look both alien and familiar. When she put it on, the fabric adjusted itself to fit her perfectly. Naya gasped when Lisa emerged. You look like you belong here, she said with wonder in her voice. Lisa took a deep breath as the ship landed with barely a tremor. Are you ready? Naya asked, taking her hand. Lisa nodded. I think so. The exit portal opened and sunlight streamed in, not the yellow sunlight of Earth, but a complex blend of gold, blue, and white that cast multiple shadows behind every object. Lisa took her first step onto an alien world. Hand in hand with Naya, she walked down the ramp and into history. A delegation waited for them at the base of the ramp. Kailari of various colors and features, all with those distinctive violet eyes, all watching Lisa with expressions ranging from curiosity to awe to suspicion. Welcome to Lyria, said the foremost figure, a tall female with pale green skin and elaborate silver markings on her face. I am Ilara, head of the HFY High Council, and you must be Lisa Miller, the human who claims to be Naya's husband. Lisa spent the next several weeks immersed in Kailari culture, learning their language, their customs, their history. Each day brought new wonders. Their technology was centuries beyond Earth's, yet they lived in harmony with their environment. The cities were as much grown as built with living architecture that responded to needs and moods. The Kailari themselves were a complex people. They lived far longer than humans, some reaching 500 years. They had mastered genetic engineering, medicine, and mental disciplines that seemed like magic. They could share thoughts and emotions through touch, something Lisa found both fascinating and intimidating, and yet for all their advancement, they were intensely curious about Earth and humans. They asked endless questions about everything from music to cooking to social customs. Many were particularly interested in human emotions, which they found more intense and unpredictable than their own. Lisa stayed in a suite of rooms in the diplomatic quarter. Though everything was designed for her comfort, she often felt homesick for simple Earth things, coffee, rainstorms, the sound of birds in the morning. But whenever that feeling grew too strong, Naya would appear with some new experience to share. Their relationship was evolving, becoming something neither had words for. Lisa found herself increasingly drawn to the alien woman. Not just her exotic beauty, but her sharp mind, her courage, her gentle humor. And Naya seemed equally fascinated by Lisa, often watching her with those violet eyes that seemed to see straight to her soul. One evening, as they walked through a garden where plants sang soft melodies when touched, Lisa finally asked the question that had been on her mind. Are relationships between our species even possible? I mean, physically, emotionally? Naya took her hand. Our bodies are different, yes, but not so different as you might think. And emotions, those cross all boundaries, do they not? Lisa felt her heart quicken at the touch. Yes, I suppose they do. They stopped beneath a tree with luminescent leaves that cast a soft blue glow over them. Naya traced a finger along Lisa's cheek. The Kailari believed that souls recognize each other across lifetimes, across worlds, even across species. When we feel that recognition that pulled to another being, it should be honored. Lisa leaned into the touch. Before I met you, I never would have believed any of this was possible. Now I can't imagine a world where we never met. Their first kiss was hesitant, gentle, a meeting of alien and human, two beings from worlds light years apart, finding connection in the universal language of touch. But while Lisa was discovering love on an alien world, danger was growing in the shadows. Kelvin called an urgent meeting. 2 days later, Lisa, Naya, Kate, and several other trusted Kailari gathered in a secure chamber deep within the diplomatic complex. We have a problem, Kelvin said grimly. Our intelligence suggests Drax was not working alone. The Vexari have allies. What kind of allies? Naya asked. Kelvin activated a holographic display showing a ship unlike any Lisa had seen before, angular predatory black as space itself. The design is unfamiliar to us, but we have intercepted communications. They call themselves the Harvesters. Lisa felt a chill at the name. Why Harvesters? They collect genetic material technology knowledge from various species. Kelvin explained. They take what they want and leave worlds broken. They have been watching Earth for some time now, and it seems Drax has offered them something in exchange for their help. Help with what? Lisa asked, though she feared she knew the answer. Kelvin looked at her grimly. The subjugation of Earth. They believe humans are too dangerous to be allowed to develop naturally. They plan to intervene. Intervene, Kate echoed. You mean invade? Not exactly. Ilara said, entering the chamber. The Harvesters work more subtly. They introduce genetic modifications, environmental changes. They reshape species to their liking over generations. The humans would never even know, but why? Lisa demanded. What could Earth possibly have that they want? Potential. Naya said softly. Humans develop quickly, adapt rapidly. You create and destroy with equal passion. You are unpredictable. That makes you dangerous but also valuable. And Drax has convinced these Harvesters that we need to be controlled. Lisa said, anger rising within her. Precisely. Ilara confirmed. But there is more. We believe they plan to use you, Lisa, as proof that humans can be useful allies. That your presence here, your acceptance of Naya, is part of his argument that humans can be shaped, directed. Lisa felt sick. How do we stop them? We must present our case to the Galactic Conquered. Ilara said the Harvesters are in violation of multiple treaties, but we need proof. We need to find Drax and his allies, document their plans. I want to help, Lisa said immediately. This is my world. We're talking about my people. Ilara studied her for a moment. There is a way, but it is dangerous. You and Naya would need to infiltrate a trading post where we believe Drax is meeting with Harvester representatives. Lisa looked at Naya, who nodded without hesitation. When do we leave? The trading post orbited, a dead star at the edge of Kailari space. It was a massive structure built from asteroids and salvaged ships, a neutral zone where species from across the galaxy came to trade goods, information, and services. Lisa and Naya arrived aboard a small merchant vessel. Lisa wore a disguise, a hooded cloak, and facial prosthetics that made her appear to be a mixed species hybrid. The trading post was crowded with beings of all descriptions, some humanoid, others wildly different. Lisa struggled not to stare. Remember, Naya whispered. Keep your head down. Humans are rare here, but not unknown. Still better not to draw attention. They made their way through markets where impossible things were bought and sold. Living tattoos that crawled across the skin. Memory crystals that stored experiences rather than data, weapons that defied physics, food that changed flavor with every bite. Their contact was a being called Imrev, a four-armed information broker with translucent skin through which his organs were visible. He operated a small shop selling data and secrets. You seek Drax, he said after they paid his fee with Kailari crystals. Yes, I have seen him, 3 cycles ago, with tall dark ones, the Harvesters. His voice dropped to a whisper. They go to the lower levels, where the shadows live. The lower levels were darker, dirtier, more dangerous. Beings slunk through narrow corridors, eyes gleaming in the gloom. Deals were made in whispers. Violence was an ever-present threat. Lisa and Naya moved carefully, following Mirev's directions to a chamber hidden behind a false wall. The door was locked, but Naya placed a small device against it. The lock clicked open. Inside they found what they were looking for, a small communication center abandoned, but recently used. Lisa activated the terminal while Naya kept watch. The files were encrypted, but Kate had provided tools to break through the security. What Lisa found made her blood run cold. Drax had provided the Harvesters with detailed information about Earth. Defenses, weaknesses, social structures. They were planning a 3-phase invasion. First, destabilization of governments through engineered crises. Then introduction of genetic modifications through the water supply. Finally, direct intervention presenting themselves as saviors. But there was more. The harvesters had a particular interest in human creativity. They believed it could be harnessed, weaponized. Drax had promised them access to the best and brightest human minds in exchange for technology and a position of power in the new regime. "We need to download this," Lisa whispered to Naya. "This is everything we need as." Naya connected a device to copy the files. Lisa noticed something else on the screen. A secondary plan. If the infiltration failed, the harvesters were prepared for direct action. A fleet was gathering behind the dark side of Jupiter's moon Io. A fleet large enough to overwhelm Earth's defenses. Lisa felt ice in her veins. They could attack at any time. The door slammed open. Lisa spun around to see Drax standing there, flanked by two tall figures in black armor. The harvesters. Their faces were hidden behind smooth, featureless masks, so Drax said, his crimson skin darkening with anger. "The Council sends spies." How predictable. Lisa stepped forward. "This isn't just about the Kylari and humans, is it? You're selling out both our species to these harvesters?" Drax smiled a cold expression. "I prefer to think of it as evolution, guided by superior minds. The harvesters have existed. For millennia, they have shaped 100 worlds. They know what is best." One of the harvesters spoke, its voice a metallic rasp. "The human female will come with us. She is an excellent specimen." "Never," Lisa said, backing away. Naya stepped protectively in front of her. The harvester tilted its head. "Your attachment to this creature is interesting, Kylari. We had not predicted such bonding." Drax scoffed. "It is an aberration." Nothing more. While they were talking, Lisa noticed Naya slowly reaching for something. In her pocket, a signal device. They needed to stall. "What happens to the Kylari in this arrangement?" Lisa asked Drax. "Are you just another species to be harvested?" Doubt flickered across Drax's face for an instant before his expression hardened. "We are to be elevated partners, not subjects." The harvester turned to him, its expressionless mask somehow conveying amusement. "All species serve the harvest, in their proper place." In that moment, Lisa saw realization dawn on Drax. He had been deceived. The harvesters had no intention of treating the Kylari as equals. Before anyone could react, Naya activated the signal device. A blinding flash filled the room. When Lisa could see again, she found herself being pulled by Naya through a side door. They ran down corridors, pursued by shouts and the sound of weapons firing. "We need to get back to the ship," Naya gasped. "Did you get the data?" Lisa patted her pocket. "Got it, all of it." The Galactic Concord assembled with unprecedented speed. Representatives from 17 spacefaring civilizations gathered in a vast chamber on a neutral space station. The Kylari evidence was presented. Lisa testified, speaking for humanity, though she had no official authority to do so. She spoke from the heart about her species, their flaws and virtues, their potential, their right to develop without interference. The harvesters sent no representative, but the evidence was damning. The Concord deliberated for less than a day before reaching their decision. The harvester fleet would be intercepted. A peacekeeping force would be dispatched to Earth orbit, not to reveal themselves, but to ensure no hostile action could be taken. As for Drax, he had disappeared. Some believed the harvesters had eliminated him once his usefulness ended. Others thought he had gone into hiding. His faction was dismantled. Its members questioned, some arrested. Lisa should have felt relieved. Instead, she felt restless. The danger had been averted, but Earth remained vulnerable, ignorant of the wider galaxy and its politics. How long before another threat emerged? 3 days after the Concord ruling, Lisa found herself on a balcony overlooking the Kylari capital. The 3 suns were setting, painting the sky in layers of gold, turquoise, and violet. She had grown to love this alien world, but her thoughts kept returning to Earth. Naya joined her, sensing her mood. "You miss your home?" she said. It was not a question. Lisa nodded. Even with everything I've seen, everything I've learned, I can't help thinking about Earth, about the people there going about their lives never knowing how close they came to disaster, never knowing any of this exists. Naya was quiet for a moment. Would you return if you could? Lisa turned to her, surprised. You mean visit? No. Naya said softly. Return permanently. Become Earth's first official ambassador to the stars. The Conquered has approved limited contact. Carefully managed. Revelation of extraterrestrial life. Earth is to be offered associate status. Protection knowledge exchange. Lisa stared at her. You mean go back and tell people aliens are real, and I'm dating? One Naya laughed. The revelation would be more diplomatic than that. But essentially, yes, your world leaders would be informed first, then a careful plan for wider disclosure. Lisa tried to imagine it. The shock, the wonder, the fear, the hope. But what about us? She asked, taking Naya's hand. What about what we've found together? Naya squeezed her fingers. I would come with you if you would have me. As the Kailari ambassador to Earth. We would be equals, both representing our worlds, both bridging the gap between stars. The idea was dizzying. Lisa Miller, ordinary, graphic designer from an ordinary town, now contemplating a return to Earth as an interplanetary diplomat, with an alien girlfriend. No less. It's a lot to process. Lisa admitted. Take time to consider, Naya said. But not too much time. The Conquered wishes to move quickly before rumors spread, before the harvesters can regroup. That night Lisa couldn't sleep. She paced her quarters, thinking of all that had happened since that fateful night when Naya appeared at her door. How much her life had changed. How much she had changed by morning she had made her decision. 1 month later, a Kailari diplomatic vessel entered Earth orbit, cloaked from detection. A small shuttle detached, heading for a predetermined landing site in a remote area where government officials waited with a mixture of skepticism and nervous anticipation. When Lisa stepped out wearing the formal attire of a Conquered diplomat, she saw the shock on their faces. A human returning from the stars? I am Lisa Miller, she announced formally. I returned to Earth as ambassador of the Galactic Conquered, and she gestured to Naya, who emerged behind her. I present Naya, diplomatic representative of the Kailari Collective. What followed were weeks of closed-door meetings, security briefings, verification, procedures. Lisa provided evidence of her identity, her journey, her experiences. Naya demonstrated technology and knowledge that removed all doubt. World leaders were informed carefully. Selected scientists and military officials brought into the circle of knowledge. Plans were made for wider disclosure. A 5-year program for gradually introducing humanity to the reality of alien life. Not everyone was happy with the arrangement. Some feared cultural contamination, others military disadvantage, still, others religious upheaval. But the evidence of the harvester threat convinced even the most skeptical that Earth needed allies. Lisa and Naya established the first extraterrestrial embassy, a small compound in neutral territory, a place where humans could come to learn about the wider galaxy and where visiting aliens, carefully disguised, could begin to experience Earth culture. It was exhausting, exhilarating work. There were crises and breakthroughs, cultural misunderstandings, and moments of profound connection. Through it all, Lisa and Naya remained together, their relationship deepening even as they helped forge relationships between worlds. 6 months after their return, they stood together on the embassy roof watching a sunset. The colors reminded Lisa of Lyria's triple suns, though Earth's single star had its own beauty. How are you feeling about all this? Naya asked. Any regrets about coming back? Lisa considered the question. It hasn't been easy, she admitted. Some days I miss the peace of Lyria, the acceptance, the wonder. But this is my home, and they need me here. They need us. Naya smiled. I have come to love this world. She said, its chaos, its complexity, its unexpected beauty. She took Lisa's hand. I understand now why you could never fully leave it behind. Lisa leaned against her. The truth is, I don't feel I belong fully to either world anymore. I'm caught between stars. Perhaps that is exactly where you are meant to be. Naya suggested. Neither fully of Earth, nor fully of Lyria, but something new. Something in between. A bridge. A bridge. Lisa repeated, liking the image. And what about you? What do you feel you are? Naya thought for a moment. I am a traveler, she said finally, who found something unexpected on a distant world. Something worth crossing the stars for. She touched Lisa's face gently, and I would cross them again 1,000 times. Their kiss was no longer hesitant, no longer a meeting of alien and human, but something else entirely. Two souls who had found each other against impossible odds across the vast emptiness of space. Later that night, as Naya slept, Lisa stood at the window of their quarters looking up at the stars. She thought of all that had happened since that night when a desperate alien appeared at her door, asking her to pretend to be her husband. What began as a lie had become the deepest truth of her life. She thought of Drax still out there somewhere, perhaps plotting revenge. She thought of the harvesters watching from the shadows. She thought of the challenges still to come as humanity stepped onto the galactic stage. But those were concerns for tomorrow. Tonight the stars seemed close enough to touch, and Lisa Miller, once an ordinary human from an ordinary town, knew that whatever came next, she would face it with Naya at her side. The universe was vast, strange, and sometimes dangerous, but it was also full of wonder, connection, and possibility. And that made all the difference. She climbed back into bed, curling against Naya's warmth, feeling the now familiar hum of energy that always surrounded her alien lover, her husband, her wife, her partner across the stars. The journey had only just begun. Across the galaxy, on a world of perpetual twilight, Drax stood before a new ally. This one not harvester, but something older, more patient. Its form was shadowed, its voice like stones grinding together. The harvesters were clumsy, the shadowed being said. They moved too quickly, revealed too much, but they created an opening. We can be more subtle, more patient, Drax. His crimson skin, now scarred from punishment, nodded. I understand. We watch. We wait. The figure seemed to smile, though it had no visible mouth. The human and the Kailari, they think they have won. They think they understand the game, but they have only seen the opening moves in a chamber deep beneath Earth's first extraterrestrial embassy. A communication device activated. A message arrived encrypted in code that no human technology could detect. Naya rose from bed, careful not to wake Lisa. She accessed the message, her violet eyes widening as she read. Her people had discovered something. A threat greater than the harvesters. A shadow that had been moving across the galaxy for millennia. And Earth was in its path. She looked at Lisa sleeping peacefully and made a silent vow. Whatever came next, whatever darkness approached from the stars, Lisa would not face it alone. They would stand together between worlds, between stars. For what they had found together was worth fighting, for worth crossing galaxies, for worth everything.